Hello, I'm Liz, one of Derry's reference librarians, and welcome back to another episode of Misinformation Busters. Once a week, we tackle a rumor or false or misunderstood stories and try to separate fact from fiction. This week, we're talking about an ongoing battle, the war on Christmas. So, what's the story? You've probably heard about the war on Christmas. Evil secularists trying to remove any mention of Christmas, be it in the public square or using the phrase happy holidays. It really gained traction in the mid-aughts when pundit Bill O'Reilly started to do segments on the war on a show, The O'Reilly Factor. And one of his big segments was aimed at then Mayor Michael Bloomberg for having a holiday tree rather than a Christmas tree and having no overt religious symbols on said tree. O'Reilly accuses not only of being politically correct, but anti-Christian. From there, the popularity of the idea of a war on Christmas grew, and every holiday season we start to hear complaints. Stores are using happy holidays, are accused of trying to erase Christmas, people will bash Starbucks because the cups aren't Christmassy enough, and overall, there's an idea that there is a sinister force trying to destroy not only Christmas, but the heritage of America itself. So, what are the facts? Well, it goes without saying that there is no real war on Christmas, and it's ultimately a manufactured controversy. Go into any store, or considering it's COVID, look at any online store, you will see Christmas trees, wreaths, and other Christmas symbolism, as if stores want to do away with the best shopping time of the year. Christmas music is everywhere. Christmas specials are on TV, and most importantly, you can still celebrate Christmas however you wish in the privacy of your own home and or place of worship. It is true that there are holiday trees rather than Christmas trees, but in many cases, those are for state or municipal trees. Holiday isn't meant to erase Christmas, just meant to be more encompassing. After all, there are a number of holidays in December, not just Christmas. And it's true, there have been challenges to religious symbols on town squares in some places, but that's less about making sure no one can celebrate Christmas and more people who are really sticklers when it comes to religious symbols on state, federal, or municipal property. The objection isn't to Christmas, but the optics of the government giving favor to one holiday or another. That's why some places will do holiday trees, or some will have a Christmas tree, as well as paying tribute to other holidays like Kwanzaa and Hanukkah. It's less a conspiracy and more the result of living in a diverse society where there are many differing opinions on religious expression of government grounds. Even Happy Holidays, which is now accused of being politically correct or even an anti-Christmas slogan, is nowhere near as sinister as pundits say. Happy Holidays has been a greeting of the season for years. It's been used by Hallmark and other advertisers for almost a century. In fact, it was originally used to cover Christmas and Advent, so covered a bunch of holidays, including Christmas. So again, despite the moral panic of pundits, it doesn't look like there's anything to the war on Christmas, other than society trying to be as inclusive as possible in an increasingly religiously diverse country, which America's always been more religiously diverse than people realize, but that's a topic for another video. Still, you gotta wonder, where did this come from? For a lot of us, the war on Christmas began with Fox News and Bill O'Reilly. But was it created by Bill O'Reilly? Or did it come from somewhere else? A lot of conspiracies come from somewhere. The idea of the New World Order or an all-powerful cabal stems from anti-Semitic ideas that Jewish people control the world. And the current conspiracy du jour, QAnon and Pizzagate, that's just repackaged anti-Semitic blood libel conspiracies. Surely the war on Christmas can't be anti-Semitic in origin. No, of course it is. I can't keep that up. So, word of warning, I will be quoting from anti-Semitic tracts. Obviously, I do not support this viewpoint. Anyway, the idea of Jewish people trying to erase Christmas comes from a well-known man, Henry Ford. Yes, that Henry Ford. Ford was incredibly anti-Semitic and in the 1920s published a series of pamphlets that, collected together, were called, and I quote, "The International Jew, the World's Foremost Problem." Hitler was a fan. In it, Ford says, quote, "Not only do the Jews disagree with Christian teaching, which is their perfect right and no one dare question it, but they seek to interfere with it. It is not religious tolerance in the midst of religious difference, but religious attack that they practice and preach." And this idea of a war on Christmas found new life in the 1950s when the John Birch Society, which is a far-right nativist group, published a series of pamphlets called There Goes Christmas. Only this time, the target wasn't Jewish people, it was UN and the communists. Quote, One of the techniques now being applied by the Reds to weaken the pillar of religion in our country is the drive to take Christ out of Christmas, to denude the event of its religious meaning. The UN fanatics launched their assault on Christmas in 1958, but got there too late before the holy day was at hand. They are already busy, however, at this very moment on efforts to poison the 1959 Christmas season with their high-pressure propaganda. What they now want to put over on the American people is simply this: department stores throughout the country are to utilize UN symbols and emblems as Christmas decorations. Not sure that ever happened. Also, the John Birch Society thought the UN was run by, and also most communists were influenced by, take a wild guess. In the 1990s, the War on Christmas was revived again, this time by white nationalist Peter Brimlow, who claimed that immigration and multiculturalism in general would bring an end to Christmas. Whew, no one tell him that Thomas Jefferson had a Bible, or that immigrants celebrate Christmas sometimes in addition to other holidays. There's actually a nice piece in Southern Living recently by Priya Krishna about how, despite her family keeping their Hindu faith, would celebrate Christmas as a way to celebrate their American citizenship. That doesn't really sound like immigration bringing an end to Christmas. Which, this is actually a good segue to the aughts with Bill O'Reilly and the modern war on Christmas moral panic. It started out as atheist PC thugs, but in the aftermath of 9/11, the war on Christmas became a vessel for Islamophobia as well, with unsubstantiated rumors of towns with high Muslim populations like Dearborn, Michigan, banning Christmas. Which, by the way, has never happened. Actually, wait. It has happened once. The only people to ban Christmas on American soil were Christians. That's right. The Puritans banned the holiday in Massachusetts from 1659 to 1681. So, looking at history, it looks like the war on Christmas is less about protecting Christmas and more about stoking fear of an other. Be they Jewish, atheist, Muslim, pagan, which that's pretty funny if you know the history of Christmas, or just plain anyone who isn't like them. Again, moral panics are about finding villains. So the next time you hear a pundit arguing that someone is trying to destroy Christmas, listen carefully and think, is this really about Christmas? Or is this about fear? Thank you for watching, and as always, look for sources in the comments. And if you want to do some research, you can use our EBSCO databases, available through the library's website. And I'll see you next week.